Hello, hi, it's Henry the computer guy, and you welcome to our lesson number 10. Remember, we are still talking about the application areas of ICT, and we say that we are going to be talking about each of these areas in details or one by one. And in today's tutorial, we are going to talk about the application of ICT in the area of education. How do we actually use ICT in the area of education? They are telling us that point one, schools use computers to create websites for sharing information with the public. Now, for example, you're having a school, you want to communicate ideas to the parents, you always use circulars. You make brochures, you make flyers. That one adds to the expenses of the school. So if a school has a website, this information can as well be posted to a website. And parents go revisit the website, they get the information they need to know, the awareness. And at times some students alter the circulars or report cards they give them. So if that information is always availed to the parents over the website, then it prevents some students from misbehaving. So we can use a website to communicate to the parents or to our parents at home. Productivity tools like desktop publishing and presentation software are used in projects and other school activities. For example, I use PowerPoint to create presentations for the lessons I'm going to make for the class. That is a use of a computer. I make my presentations using a computer. And in our school, we have ICT clubs, or we have clubs, but these clubs come up with projects of which they use computers to design, for example, the calendars for the clubs, the identity cards for the clubs, so they can use these productivity tools, for example, desktop publishing, to design what they feel they want. Point 3 tells us that computers are used for calculating mathematical arithmetic by students and teachers in class. For example, you have a computation you want to make, you can use a calculator to make that calculation come out. You cannot use the head, but you use a calculator to get the answer there and then. Digital computers are also used for telling and managing time in school. For example, the watches, they help us to keep time. And some bells that we have nowadays are digital. You just include in the time that you want, then the bell will automatically be ringing itself when the time that you had set reaches. For example, as you use an alarm at home, so it will always act accordingly, or according to the input someone has given it. So they are used to manage time at school. Free or error-free school timetables can be generated using special timetable computer softwares. Remember, the hardest thing for the those at school is making what we call a timetable, because it keeps on changing. But nowadays, computer software has been made which helps those heads of departments or heads of schools to make error-free timetables for the school. With the use of school administration and management system, record management is made easier because all details of learners can be held on computer and easily retrieved, reducing administrative costs. Whenever you come, you're admitted to a school, all your details are captured and entered into the computer. For example, whenever we are looking for that information, we just give it a search, or we just search for that information in a computer. Within less than 1 minute, that information will be displayed. So it reduces on the expenses the school would have made for buying files for each and every student. We just need one computer where we can include that information, reducing on the costs that we have or would have incurred in the due course. Students' progressive reports or report cards can be produced electronically by use of computers instead of handwritten ones. In older days, report cards were made using hands. Someone comes, writes in the marks, gets a calculator, and gets the total. So nowadays, electronic report cards are being generated. Totals generated automatically, positions generated automatically, which reduces on the amount of time someone takes when they are making the reports or the report cards for the students. We continue. Distance learning through computer-based training. People can study online and get awards such as degrees without going to class. Now during this lockdown, we use what we call long-distance learning. You're at home, we can organize a session or a class, for example, using Zoom or Google Classroom. Then we can deliver the lesson to our students when they are still at home. Or you can study from USA when you're still in Uganda. You enroll online, you pay online, you do the exam online, and you also get the award online. So it has also reduced on the amount of money people are spending in travel expenses to go to theater or different countries to get, let's say, a degree. So you just study from the comfort of your place and at any time you feel you want. Teachers use simulation softwares to visualize and demonstrate difficult and dangerous experiments in class. For example, those teachers of chemistry have some solvents or reagents that are always harmful to the environment, and they cannot actually make or do these practicals in class with the students. So what they do, there are some softwares that can help us to visualize or see that experiment while being done on a computer. So it actually puts into consideration the life of our students. And they're telling us that use of special facilities for students with disabilities like text-to-speech. Someone who cannot even write can just use a computer. Talk to the computer writes what that person is really saying. And speech recognition to help blind students. For example, someone is not seeing but can talk. So we can use what we call the speech recognition. Then a student can access what he or she needs. Interactive multimedia packages on DVDs can clearly demonstrate and explain abstract concepts. Whenever a concept is hard to understand, we can create a DVD, give it to a student, then a student can learn on their own, at their convenience, in their free time. Rewind it until they understand that abstract. So this information can be put in form of multimedia, combination of text, audio, visual, animation, put on a DVD, then the student can rewatch it until they get the idea very well. We continue. In teaching, we use computer-assisted instruction by use of interactive whiteboards and projectors in class. For example, if I want to deliver my lesson, I cannot go with only a laptop because my students will be in need of seeing what I'm talking about. So I will not go to each and every student because that would be a wastage of time. I will need a projector, or I will need what we call an interactive whiteboard to display those items to the students. Let's refer to this and we see how they look like. So now this is how an interactive whiteboard looks like. For example, you can control it using a remote, your laptop, your hands, and it has sound. It can even produce the sound. So it is an interactive whiteboard. Then a projector, we connect this to our laptop, then we can display the images to a bigger audience. Computer-aided learning gives access to on-screen learning material. Students learn at their own pace and can repeat a lesson they didn't understand. So they aid us, or they help us when we are teaching the students. That means that if I provide a student with, let's say, a device I'm talking about, if I talk of a keyboard, I bring it. I talk of a mouse, I bring it. The student will be able to understand more clearly than when I'm talking about it when it's no longer in place. So that is what we call computer-aided learning. Computer-assisted assessment, which helps teachers to reduce the time and the labor to mark students' books and answer scripts. For example, if I had many students in class, I wanted to give them a test and mark it in the shortest time possible. So what I'll do, I'll have to use a computer. I get what we call a master document. Then I can use what we call an optical mark reader. Pass through the master document, then all the other scripts are going to be marked depending on the master I've used. So it will reduce on the amount of time I would have used to mark each and every person. I can use a computer. It will help me to reduce on the time by helping me to mark or identify the correct answers in those scripts in the shortest time possible. So, if you're new to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe and also share the link to your friends. It's been Henry the Computer Guy. See you in the next video. Bye-bye. I sign out.